How do we understand what a fact is? Today, this is a very difficult thing for most people. Assessing facts is something that is done on a daily basis, as we are given claims from left or right, at least in the political leanings in the United States, and most people are left without recourse in how to interpret those facts. We have had, from both sides of the aisle, claims for alternative facts, although this from one side especially, and how we to understand that. There is an idea that might be put like this as a dichotomy. You have 10 people around a beach ball. All of them are trying to understand what it is. The question is it determined by their consensus, or is it determined by the universe, by the thing it is, just whatever it is? And the answer for a Christian is neither. It is not determined by the universe, nor is it determined by the consensus of the people. As has been shown throughout all of history, the consensus of people may in fact be wrong about something, and have in the past. So, then a Kantian would say, actually, it is a property of a thing. The truth of a thing is in the thing itself, and I am unable to access that. That would be the Kantian way of thinking about it. Facts are something that are themselves and are inaccessible by humans, at least without sense experience. The question then becomes, how do you trust what you see? And the second question would be, how do you get at truth, if that's the case? The Christian's answer is not to make this false dichotomy, which ultimately creates no truth at all, either in utter subjectivity or in utter objectivity. Kantianism tries to have some mixture between the two and fails in doing so, because ultimately you still cannot trust anything. There is no certainty in anything because you can't get at the thing in itself. But for the Christian, we are certain because we know the one who has not only made the facts, but interprets all the facts together. Think of it this way. How are we supposed to know any one fact unless we know all the other facts? How are we supposed to know that something is true unless we know all the other truths? If I were to know all truth, then I could say with certainty that one thing is true because it cannot be falsified by something that I do not yet know. You don't know what you don't know. But who can have this kind of knowledge? That they can know for certain that what they say will not be falsified. And that is only God. Without this knowledge, without there being knowledge of all things and their relations inherently, and not about the thing in itself, but from God. Of course, I would say truth is within minds, not within things. Then there can be no certainty. There can, in fact, be no truth, because all of it will be interpreted in this way or in that way, as we have found out so often today with alternative facts. The thing is not to have merely facts, but to have facts that are rightly interpreted. The question then becomes, how is it rightly interpreted? And it must be rightly interpreted depending upon the one who has created them and the one who has put them in their relation from the very beginning. The relation of all facts is to be put into one story, to be put into one plan, and that is how all the facts relate, is to the redemptive plan of God, to save his people through the Son, and through the work of his Son on the cross, his death, his resurrection, his ascension for his people. This is what it means. So, what is a fact? A fact is what God says it is. It is a created reality which has a distinct existence, but does not exist as truth without God interpreting it. Our duty as Christians is to discover what is true about things given what God has done in creation. All facts are not to be interpreted as things in themselves, nor by merely subjective experience, but by the truths, by the things that have been placed forward in God's Word. That is the only way that there may be certainty.